that's your exit ramp. Okay, the next one is going to be market. So this one's interesting. So we say, hey, I can't do more because my market is too small. And that may be true. It's probably not, but it may be true. So if you're a local business, it's possible. I talked to somebody on the Hormozi hotline during the live. I don't know if you guys remember this, or some of you guys might have been there. He had, I think it was 140 people in his town, and he had a local business that was a lounge. Yeah, you're not going to scale that to $1 billion. Like there's literally no way. I mean, literally the aggregate economy of the local area is 140 people's salary times their salary, or like people times the salary. That's it. That's if 100% of people will give you 100% of their money. That's it. There's no more. You can't do anything else. Just like the GDP of the world is limited by 8 point whatever billion people that exist. Like you can't sell more than that. That's it, right? Also, kind of fun fact, like you can fact it, because I heard somebody the other day, one of these tech founders, who was like, attention is compounding at an exponential rate. And I thought about that, and I was like, that's not true. There's 8 billion people. There's 24 hours. That's it. That's max attention. That's all there is. Like it can't compound at an exponential rate. There's 8 billion of us. There's only so many eyeballs and earballs. That's it. And so there are real maximums. However, they're typically so much higher than you think they are. And so if you were local, it's possible. If you're anything else, if you sell nationally, you sell internationally, you sell online, it's super unlikely that you've saturated your quote market. And also to the same degree, if you are in a local business, you could just go to another market, which is fine. But if you're like, I've maxed out, I'm in a town of 400 people in Kentucky, and I have a gym. Yeah, well, you probably, if you have all 400 people, like you got it. Like now we got to do another one, right? And so I would encourage you to Google industry revenue, because it's a great way to humble yourself when you're like, you know what, I think I've got, we're doing $2 million a year, and I think I've saturated the niche of chiropractor agencies, right? It's like, no, you haven't. And what's crazy about this is that this is one of the most commonly stated reasons that I get for why someone can't grow. And it's also one of the least correct and least commonly true, right? Like if you're actually, what's funny is that the business, this happens so frequently, it's kind of funny. The businesses that are at I have 140 people in my market, they almost never say that they're the ones that have a market that's too small. It's the people who are like, I'm going after weight loss and I'm making $5 million a year and I think I've capped it. I'm like, I don't know, it's a $70 billion industry. Like, probably haven't, right? And so I'll tell you a little story about, I had this belief broken for me too, which was, that's why it's so nefarious, because it's so easy. It just protects your ego so well. It just gives you this big warm hug, and it's like, dude, it's just the market's too small. You're already a winner. Like, you've got it all, man. You've got it all. Like, no, you can't make any more because you're just outside circumstances. It's not you, right? So, Jim Walsh was capped at, I can't remember what it was, but we were at 30-ish. And I had somebody reach out, who was a sales guy, and he was telling me that he worked at a different gym company that I'd never heard of before. And I was like, never even heard of these guys. And so I said, well, how big's your outbound team that you work on? And I think he said 40 or 50 guys, whatever it was, a decent amount at the time. And I was like, whoa, 40 or 50 guys doing outbound. I was like, well, what's revenue for you guys? And he said, about 10 million a month. And I was like floored. Like if I had glasses, I would have taken the glasses and thrown on, but I don't wear glasses. But if I did, I would have thrown them on the floor. And so the thing is that story though completely shifted my perspective of how many more gyms there were available out there, that I was just only reaching on one channel. Maybe I tapped a channel, maybe,